Hello, salutations. What to do? It's not the gamer off out to do again. Know the vibes like subscribe. Let's get it. Good morning. Happy Monday, Durag Nation. We are back. Another great week ahead of us, hopefully. Today we are live reacting to the Game Award nominees. Can't wait to see what the nominees are, and more importantly, looking forward to everybody crashing out when the game they wanted doesn't get nominated. I'll be one of them if Dispatch is not up for Game of the Year. We are live on YouTube and Twitch. Hello, everybody. How's everyone's day going? How was everyone's weekend? What's up, Travis? Gabe, good morning. Good morning. What's up, Calvin? What's up, Memer? How's everyone doing? Hope you're all well. Make sure you like up the stream for algorithm purposes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, I can guarantee certain Game of the Year nominees. Like, there's no reality where Expedition 33 isn't nominated for Game of the Year. Obviously, that's probably the front runner. Dispatch definitely is a dark horse now, but should at least get nominated because the reviews just came out. It's at a 90 on Metacritic, so that's 100% nominee territory. It's also got a ton of buzz, a lot of press, a lot of traffic behind it, and obviously Hollow Knight Silksong was one of the most anticipated games of the year. So I can definitely guarantee Expedition 33 and Silksong are going to be on there. What's up, Wicker? What's up, Onyx? How's everyone doing? I should probably do a countdown for this. Let me just edit my countdown. Monty, appreciate the 5. Hope Rise of Hydra shows up. Same. Ghost of Yotei should be. Yeah, so typically the games that are almost always nominated for Game of the Year are like 90 or above on Metacritic. The exception being indie games. They don't want to have too many indie games. In years past, that could change because this year has been crazy for indie games. But they like to have a couple slots for AAA, for sure, while having a little bit of indie representation. So if a big enough game is at, like, say, an 86 or an 88 on Metacritic, it can catch a nomination. I think Wukong was an exception because there weren't that many high-rated Metacritic games that year. But this year, it's been crazy. I'm sure. I know. People always say it's rigged when their thing doesn't win, but I'm sure that Death Stranding 2 is getting nominated. We know how much Geoff loves him some Kojima. Appreciate the 2. When do I think it show up? I have no idea. 54. If Rise of Hydra doesn't present anything at the Game Awards, then we're looking at potentially a 2027 delay. What's up, Champagne? Because that means if they're not even able to promote at the Game Awards, then that game is nowhere close to being ready for release. All right, we got the countdown timer up. So let me just refresh it. Hopefully it refreshes to the right thing. It's not refreshing to the right thing. Let's try this again. Manually put it in. All right, Streamlabs is broken. I gotta do it again. Or OBS is broken. One of those. All right, let's put this in again. Bro, what is going on? There it is. Do we see a trailer for Iron Man at the Game Awards? Very possible. Iron Man still, last I heard, Iron Man was like still a couple years away. Because EA made Motive work on Battlefield 6, which slowed down their development timeline. But we're definitely past due for an Iron Man trailer at the very least. So I think that's definitely on the table. What's up, Bruno? Yes, for the Blind Blazer and Gestures missing the wardrobe function. Gotta keep it family friendly for YouTube. My guess, Bitch 33 Deluxe Edition is on sale. I highly recommend it. If it wasn't for Expedition 33, I would say Dispatch is my game of the year, hands down. But Expedition 33 was just too freaking good. And it got snubbed at the Grammys. So there might be like some extra motivation to stick it to the mainstream entertainment biz. Because the Game Awards are usually like legit, at least when it comes to actually caring about games. So I think Expedition 33 is going to sweep a lot of awards. A lot of categories, though. I think Dispatch is definitely going to snag some stuff for acting, because I do think Expedition 33 was obviously very well acted. I think the acting in Dispatch was notably better than Expedition 33. I thought in terms of the high end stuff, I think the performances, not just star power, the actual performances in Dispatch were incredible voice wise. I think Charlie Cox did a tremendous job as Gustav, but Aaron Paul was just much better of a performance than Charlie did, in my opinion. You mean got snubbed at the Grammys? Dispatch, Expedition 33 was mostly people were expecting it to be nominated for Best Soundtrack at the Grammys, because obviously Expedition 33 had one of the best music soundtracks for a game of the past 20 years. and it didn't get nominated at all. Not only did it not win, it didn't get nominated at all. It got the Ubisoft Avatar game got nominated over it. I think Star Wars Outlaws got nominated over it. Sword of the Sea got nominated over it. Like it was so laughably ridiculous. Like it was like, what do we do? Like, what are we talking? Like it kind of exposed just how like out of touch and useless the Grammys are. That Expedition 33 doesn't even get nominated. But that's just the Grammys. Kingdom Come delivers here for you. Imagine thinking Aaron Paul is objectively a good actor. Like that's not even like an opinion. That's just an undeniable fact. Like your opinion on Breaking Bad is irrelevant. Aaron Paul is a very good actor, and in particular, we're talking about voice acting, and he is a tremendous voice actor. Like Breaking Bad was his first major role, so you can critique that all you want, but he's proven in subsequent movies that he's a really good actor, but he's also shown he's a surprisingly really good voice actor. Like you can't even tell it's Aaron Paul in Dispatch. Like some people who people who didn't watch BoJack Horseman, for example, assumed that when Aaron Paul was cast in Dispatch as Robert Robertson, it would just sound like Aaron Paul. But no, he's actually a really good voice actor. It's gonna be chaos this year. Oh, for sure. Because there was even though a lot of stuff ended up getting delayed, so many great games ended up coming out. I think the hardest thing that they're going to have to decide is how many indie games are going to be up for nominees. Because this was like a crazy year for indie games. Smaller studios had a ton of games just absolutely pop off. And obviously the higher end stuff that got, the most mainstream attention was Expedition 33 and Dispatch. But there were just so many, and Silksong, of course. But there were so many games that just popped off this year. It's going to be a really tough field of nominees. Footage is more gravelly and solemn in his performance. He's like playing like a completely different person. All indie game nomination, obviously not possible, but it would definitely warrant having more than 2 nominees. Obviously, Nintendo always gets something when possible, and I'm sure Geoff is going to pull some strings and make sure Death Stranding 2 gets nominated, and that's still valid. It's still valid. Like Death Stranding 2, I think is sitting at what, like an 86. On Metacritic. It's actually it's 89, even better. So, see, I think Death Stranding 2 is definitely a lock. Donkey Kong, yeah, I think it's going. Yeah, I think it's going to be. My prediction is Expedition 33, Hollow Knight Silksong, Death Stranding 2, Dispatch, Donkey Kong, and then it's kind of a toss up from there. Because there's a lot you could throw in there. There's no way Kojima doesn't get nominated at a Geoff Keighley show. That's just not happening. Hades 2 definitely. Let me see. Let me look at the the Metacritic right now. Let me look at the best games this year according to Metacritic. All right, so Tears of the Kingdom, Switch to Edition, we can rule that out. Breath of the Wild, Switch Edition, we can rule that out. So our Hades 2 is number 1 in Metacritic score at a 95. So that should be locked in. Clair Obscur is 92. Blueprints is a big one. That's at a 92. Split Fiction, 91. Donkey Kong, 91. Silksong, 91. So they're not going to have too many. Somebody, Dispatch dropped to 89. Who sabotaged Dispatch? Whoever gave Dispatch a lower score to knock it out of a 90 should have their credentials revoked. Dispatch was at an 89, now it's at a 90. It was at a 90, now it's at 89. That's unacceptable. Somebody sabotaged Dispatch. All right, so it's definitely, so I think it's going to be Hades 2, Split Fiction, Clair Obscur, Silksong, Donkey Kong, Blueprints, and Death Stranding 2. It's possible Dispatch beats out Blueprints because it has more star power behind it and more popularity, even though it's got a lower score. But I think Hades 2 is a lot, along with Clair Obscur and Split Fiction and Donkey Kong and Hollow Knight. I think Hollow Knight, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think we can lock those in. Clair Obscur, Hades 2, Split Fiction, Silksong, and Donkey Kong. I think those are locks for Game of the Year nominees. Which is exactly what you're saying. Ghost of Yotei, I don't think it's nominated. I think that's sitting at an 86. The field is too deep this year. I don't think Yotei gets nominated. It was a really good game. I don't think it's up there for Game of the Year. Scores me nothing. That's just objectively wrong. Like, I've been covering the Game Awards since 2021 now on this channel. Not Metacritic score absolutely undeniably matters. That's just not even a debate. The highest Metacritic score isn't always going to win, but it absolutely 100% has been proven to be a factor. It literally is. Like, Travis always just argues just to argue because he's just trolling, but it is just it's just factually correct. If you look at the nominees every year for Game of the Year, there's always a cutoff when it comes to Metacritic score. You can literally look at the nominees going back 5 years longer. Go back and look at the scores of the nominees and the winners. Game of the Year winners almost always have a 90 plus on Metacritic. Industry decides, no, you're not understanding. Obviously a wide range of people across games media vote for the nominees. But when we're talking about who is nominated, absolutely it's based on scores, because it's not unless you think it's a coincidence that every single year the highest Metacritic score games win. Some of the games with some of the highest Metacritic scores win, and some of the highest Metacritic scores of the year are nominated. Like, that's obviously not a coincidence if it happens literally every year. Like, what are we talking about? Scores factor, but they don't side. Literally never said that at any point in the stream. Like, I said that objectively, they scores are taken into consideration when they're looking at the nominees. They look at the top scores of the year for all the games, and the individual people vote based on what they personally preferred. You're not seeing a game with a 70 Metacritic score nominated or nominated for game of the year. Like, it doesn't happen. Like, it's like, if you look at, like, I think the lowest average last year in 2024, because there were a lot of games that released that year that couldn't crack 90. So it was like a relatively down year. So they had to add, and they didn't want to have too many indie games in the category, so they had more 80s than they normally would. But if you go back the year before, I think the lowest Metacritic score game to get nominated was like, what was it? Alan Wake 2 at like, and that was like an 89 Metacritic score. Like, it absolutely is a factor for nominations. Does Marvel Rivals fit in any categories for Game of the Years? They do have a best ongoing game category, which is basically the slot they set aside for live service games. So Marvel Rivals would be eligible for that category. What's Arc Raiders at? Arc Raiders, I don't anticipate getting a nomination for Game of the Year. Let me see. It's at an 86. It's actually really strong. But yeah, at an 86, it's an 86. It's a live service game. It doesn't have like a really deep story. So that would mean voters are basically would be deciding between Arc Raiders and like Ghost of Yotei. Like, let's look at the 86 range. And before you get to 86, you'd have to be looking at the 88s. And the 89s, like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is an 88. Sword of the Sea, 88. Shinobi, 87. Got a Mario game, 87. So it would be hard to justify. It would be hard to justify them getting that in there. Like, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was like a lot of people's favorites before everything else came out. My Game of the Year is Clear Obscure. Best ongoing game, Cyberpunk. Did they release anything this year? Arc Raiders is a PvE game. You do realize Arc Raiders also has PvE, right? It's not a simple PvP game. It's a survival game. It's a survival extraction game. No, I don't realize that. I realize that Travis is really bad at a lot of games, honestly, but particularly he's really bad at PvP games, so he just has a vendetta against any game that has a PvP element. Yeah. That's not even rage bait. He legitimately is triggered by PvP games because of how bad he is at them. He's like historically horrible at them. Arc Raiders look like it does look like fun. I think it's, to me, Arc Raiders is more entertaining to watch. Like I love watching people stream it with, and I like the proximity chat compilations. Those are actually really entertaining. Proximity chat makes Arc Raiders so funny. I'm sorely offending a terrible genre. I'm definitely not. Travis is just triggered because he's so bad at it. He is like horrible. Being bad and being competitive is a bad combination. True. Arc Raiders got stale you after 10 hours. Ninja Gaiden is definitely not getting a Game of the Year nomination at least. But I can see it being up for like action game. Now, Travis, you're definitely alone on this one. Historically, PvP games have been some of the best games of all time. You got money on a market for Silksong. I mean, that's just easy money. There's obviously Silksong is getting nominated for Game of the Year. like I'm not even sure you can get a lot of money if you put a bet down on Silksong getting a nomination. That's such a lock. like Claire Obscure Silksong, betting that Silksong is getting nominated for Game of the Year is like betting that Mayweather is going to be Conor McGregor. You're guaranteed to get your money, but you're not getting a high payout. unless you put a lot down, because it's just not even a conversation. It's obviously getting nominated. Claire Obscure and Silksong are like two of the front runners for winning the whole thing, let alone talk about nominations. Like there's no way it's not there. How many games did you complete this year? That's what defines a real gamer. It's not. I didn't buy it. Also, I'm not the same as you. I didn't buy that many games because I don't have to, fortunately. I get sent a lot of games, so I obviously have limited time. So I have to prioritize which games I'm going to get through based on what I enjoyed the most in my initial playthroughs, as well as what I think is, as well as what does well on the channel. I don't know why Expedition 33 doesn't win if it's a Hogwarts Legacy scenario. I don't see that happening. Because the Hogwarts Legacy, those are completely different situations. Like, there are definitely some industry like hacks, like AAA space, who feel some type of way that Claire Obscure is so successful because other people are using it to as an example of to trash AAA games, but overwhelmingly, people loved Clear Obscure, particularly games journalists. The reason why Hogwarts Legacy was getting snubbed is because of the culture war element to it. There's not really a culture war element. Like, there were some grifters who actually attacked Clear Obscure because it was too diverse. So that's not even going to factor in. Hogwarts Legacy was controversial because it was being defended by the grifters, because and people were feeling some type of way because of the association to J.K. Rowling. There's no like component to that of Clear Obscure at all. It's just a really great game that happened to be an indie. We made to play Death Stranding 1. Might give it a try. I think I'm gonna play it at some point. Sadot does a win. It'll win Indie Game of the Year. Yeah, Silksong is definitely going to be clearing a lot of awards this year. Between the Game Awards and Golden Joystick, it's going to be getting a lot. Hogwarts Legacy just objectively deserved to be a nominee. It was a really solid RPG. It outsold Call of Duty. It was like it was one of the best-selling single-year games of all time. Like, objectively, that's not even a conversation. It wasn't Game of the Year quality. Like, it wasn't that high, but objectively, Hogwarts Legacy deserved to be nominated for something. It was a really solid game. It had despite everything, despite some reviewers actively giving it a lower score because of its association with J.K. Rowling, it still had like an 86 on Metacritic, which was one of the highest rated games of the entire year, on top of being one of the best selling games single year of all time. Like, it objectively deserved a nomination. Like, that's not like, we're not even gonna like troll about that. That's obviously we all know why it didn't get nominated for anything. Like, we all know what it was, but there were definitely people who glazed Hogwarts Legacy like it was Baldur's Gate 3 when it clearly wasn't. It was a really fun RPG. Action RPG. It could have done a lot more with the RPG elements. Could have done a lot more with the narrative choice elements. But it was a really fun game, especially if you're a Harry Potter fan. I thought it did a mostly great job of recreating the world, the Hogwarts Legacy Castle, the flying, all that was really fun. You know, it was not a masterpiece by any means, but it was definitely one of the best games RPGs released that year, and definitely deserved to be acknowledged for how it was just an insanely successful product. Sales number. Call of Duty gets nominated for every new Call of Duty game gets nominated for something. Like, let's not be silly here. Call of Duty, when a Call of Duty game is good, it's good. It gets decent scores. It's almost never going to be up for a Game of the Year. I mean, live service games typically aren't up for Game of the Year for the most part. You know, it's very rare when that happens, but Call of Duty gets nominated for something when it when it drops. So does NBA 2K. NBA 2K, that's an actual example of a game that makes a lot of money and it's not that good, but it still manages to get nominated when it comes out because it's typically one of the best sports games that year, despite the issues. Like that, it just is what it is. You absolutely should be factoring in sales numbers to a degree. If a game has historically unnaturally high sales numbers on top of having a really high critic and audience score, like, that has to be acknowledged. it shouldn't decide. It shouldn't be a major deciding factor. But games that sell well typically review decently. In a lot of cases, like a yearly live service game is different anyway because it releases every year and there's usually no competition. So it would have to be a particularly bad game year for that to like have like horrible scores. We're talking about like single player standalone games. That's like a completely different category from a Call of Duty, a game that's expected to sell well every year because it's like an annual release. Same with a Madden, same with the FIFA. Those are annual release games that are their live service. They release every year and they don't have a lot of competition. So there's a already built-in expectation of their sales. Look at the 2023 Game of Year nominees. Again, I said this before. I'll say it again. I don't think Hogwarts Legacy should have been nominated for Game of the Year. I said it should have been nominated for something. Having a game that successful with that high of a critic score, not get a single nomination in the entire showcase, obviously something horribly wrong was with that situation. Game of the Year, obviously it wasn't good enough to be up for Game of the Year, but not getting a single nomination in any category, objectively silly. No remake should ever be Game of the Year. I think that's valid. Definitely not a remaster. Remake, I think it depends on how much change from the original. Like if it's transformative enough, I think it should be considered, but not over a better game that was original. A remaster, absolutely not. Same with DLC. We're getting close. Don't get me started on Shadow of the Patriot. Yeah, I understand Shadow of Erdtree was great and everything. But yeah, DLC expansion, I don't know what. Yeah, I wasn't down with that at all. Not for Game of the Year. like, like, to me, that was crazy. Like, put an indie game up there. Like, it should have got. I agree, it should have got nominated for something because I recognize it was more than just a simple DLC. But for Game of the Year, no, it's it's not. Nah. What was my game of the year last year? Trying to remember. Oh yeah, for I think Wukong should have won game of the year last year. But I'm glad Astrobot. I'm happy Astrobot got it. But I think factoring everything together, probably should have been Wukong or what was the other one? I know a lot of people wanted Balatro, but I was like, I don't know about that. Yeah, it was a harder year last year because there weren't as many big releases that like popped off, and then you had like then you had remakes and stuff. And they didn't want to have too many indie games. That was the other problem. They didn't want to have too many indie games. Dragon's Dogma 2 had so much potential, but I was surprised Metaphor Refantasio didn't win as well. I thought Metaphor Refantasio was going to win, but I was happy so many people loved Astrobot because Astrobot was a really fun game that was really well made. But I thought Wukong I thought the consensus was that Metaphor was like the best game. Wukong had like the people's vote. Like it was a massively loved by gamers. It was hugely successful, but unfortunately, it got caught up in the culture war because IGN lied about it, and so they sabotaged its scores. But I assumed it was going to be Metaphor, but it was fun. It was a pleasant surprise. Dragon's Dogma 2, your Dying Light 2. That game should have been a 10 out of 10, and it could have been if they had taken more time, and like maybe if Capcom had leaned in a little more to make sure everything was tightened up, because that game has so much potential. I feel like Crimson Desert is going to be what Dragon's Dogma 2 should have been. I think it has that potential. Astrobot made you fall in love with gaming again during a time in your life where you were feeling very down. Yeah, I think Astrobot did that for a lot of people. It was just such a unapologetically wholesome and fun game. Technically brilliant as well. Like not even just like for a kids game. Like the visuals are really well made. They did an incredible job taking advantage of the haptic feedback controller. Truly, I am glad it won. Crimson Desert Day One. Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert is up there with my most anticipated games of 2026. It was going to be my most anticipated game of 2025 before it got delayed. I just love the potential of Crimson Desert. Astrobot, yeah, it was a PlayStation exclusive. Yeah, for me next year, like Crimson Desert is way up there. For me, it's like Crimson Desert, Wolverine, GTA 6, Undefeated Genesis, Rise of Hydra. Yeah, next year's gonna be nuts. My game of the year is Clear Obscure. Yeah, 007 looks great too. Like I have to lock in and finish some games before I get into 2026 because of just how rapidly my game backlog is going to start filling up again. Because just in the first few months, we're looking at Resident Evil, Requiem. Like it's going to be crazy. So many games in 2026, and movies and shows. Like it's an insane year for culture. Not only are we getting all these incredible games, but we're getting Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Daredevil Born Again Season 2, X-Men 97, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. We're getting the DC Lantern show, Supergirl movie with Lobo. Like 2026 is going to be incredible for media. Mine's was a huge letdown. Everyone's looking forward to that. I don't know how anyone's looking forward to that. Truly, I don't understand. When I first saw the trailer for Mind's Eye, I was like, "Wait, what is this?" Okay, that's weird. And then I watched a gameplay showcase for it, and I was like, "Oh, this game just looks ass." Okay, okay, it's cooked then. Like, I generally don't understand how anyone thought this was going to be good. If you watched it, I thought the actual when we actually got to see gameplay, not cut together in a trailer, we got to actually see real gameplay. I was like, this is giving Saints Row reboot. It looks like absolute dog water. It looks like an unpolished game from from 20 from like 2011. It looks so bad. Forgot about Man's Eye. A lot of people did, fortunately. Dispatch is too recent. I think Dispatch definitely deserves it. Yeah, the gameplay was so like every aspect of it was so bad too. Like even the basic stuff like sound design, like there was no impact to any of the gunplay. It was truly horrible. Yeah, I'll be disappointed if Dispatch doesn't get nominated for Game of the Year, but I know it has to be nominated for something because it had one of the best soundtracks of the year, arguably the best voice acting of the year, some of the best visuals we've seen in years. Dispatch is definitely taking home some nominations. But the Dawn Walker, yeah, I'm excited for that one as well. That looks really good. So I think we'll get the Spider Venom skin for us Venom from the MJ. I have no idea. Five Nights at Freddy's, Secret of the Mimic, and Donkey Kong. So the best video games. You think those are the best video games? 2025. I'm not a Five Nights at Freddy's guy, but for me, Dispatch and Clear Obscure were the best games I played this year, and not even particularly close. I think Dispatch came out late. It didn't. Dispatch came out in October. Dispatch absolutely made the cutoff by a lot, actually, because it came out like only a few days after Spider-Man 2's release date. When the Insomniac Marvel game reveals, do you think we'll get it this year's Game Awards? Zero. Precisely zero. I don't think they're going to announce Venom until the PlayStation Showcase, and they already confirmed they're not doing anything for Wolverine until spring, which is probably the PlayStation Showcase. So we're not hearing we're most likely not hearing anything from Insomniac until spring 2026. You hoping to hear more from the Blade game? Well, that's not Insomniac. Insomniac has nothing to do with the Blade game. Arcane Arcane Studios is doing the Blade game. There's actually a couple Xbox showcases coming up. There's supposed to be a Xbox partner showcase getting announced soon, and I think there's a first party one in January. But Xbox usually shows up at a lot of Geoff Keighley events, so Blade is definitely possible. Worries you since Arcane had to make a good game? I think 99.9% of people who play video games will disagree with you. I know there are I know there are a lot of Arcane fans out there. I know there are a lot of people who love Deathloop. A lot of people love Prey and Dishonored, and the scores reflect it as well. They're all trash. Well, I mean the audience and critic scores say otherwise. And Travis historically has horrible taste in pretty much everything, with the with a few exceptions. Yeah, fortunately, Arcane has been skating by, has dodged all the Microsoft layoffs and game cancellations. I think they have high hopes for Blade, as do I. Development seems to be going well. They're targeting 2027, so we should hear something soon, since it is like a year and a half away from their planned release. We are getting closer to when we'll probably get something for Blade. Historically speaking, you're almost never correct about anything. Like on any category, not just gaming. Historically, Travis is pretty much always wrong. If a DLC gets nominated, there's like literally a 0% chance this year of that happening. The reason why Elden Ring Shattered Earth Tree got nominated is because it was like more than a DLC. It was like a huge expansion that was good enough where people were trying to consider it a standalone game. But more importantly, it was kind of a down year in terms of like relatively in terms of like overall releases with high enough scores. 2025 is sacked. Like there's zero chance. There is nothing DLC related or expansion related on the level of Shattered Earth Tree that released this year. And even if Shattered Earth Tree came out this year for the first time, it wouldn't get nominated because of how many great games came out this year. Like 2025 was actually insane. And it could have been even bigger if a bunch of games hadn't been delayed and pushed out. Like there is inevitable that some really big games are going to get not nominated this year for Game of the Year. It's just inevitable. A lot of games that people are going to have a valid argument for Game of the Year aren't going to get nominated because of how many great games there were in 2025. That's how stacked this year's been. Like legitimately, I would be surprised if Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 gets nominated for Game of the Year. And a lot of people thought it was the best game of the year. I'm looking at Resident Evil 9. I'm a Capcom partner, so any release they have, I'm looking at because they're going to send it to me to talk about it and promote. See, Night Rain, maybe multiplayer, maybe the multiplayer category.
Hello, everybody. It's Geoff Keighley, and the Game Awards season is officially here, leading up to our live show streaming everywhere on Thursday, December 11th. Welcome to our 2025 Global Nomination Announcement Special. Every year, we come together as a community to celebrate and, of course, debate the absolute best in video games. And, of course, also get a look at what's next from our industry's most talented creators. This year, there have been so many incredible games created and updated, but only a handful have the honor of being selected as nominees for the Game Awards by our global voting jury. Who's in the running? Well, you're about to find out as we reveal this year's nominees across all the categories. And you can help select the winners by voting at thegameawards.com.
I'll be voting.
All right, should we do it? Here's the first category.
All right, what we got here?
For Best Performance, the nominees are Ben Starr for Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Yep.
Charlie Cox for Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Yep.
Erika Ishii for Ghost of Yotei. Jennifer English for Claire Obscure Expedition
Jesus
33. Konatsu Kato for Silent Hill F. And Troy Baker for Indiana Jones.
Damn, Troy! Damn you, Troy Baker!
For Best Ongoing Game, the nominees are Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite,
No
Helldivers
Dispatch,
2, Marvel Rivals, and No Man's Sky.
Marvel Rivals.
For Best Mobile Game, the nominees are Destiny Rising, Persona 5, The Phantom X, Sonic Rumble, Uma Masume, Pretty Derby, and
That's probably gonna
Wuthering Waves.
Wuthering Waves, of course.
This year's nominees for Best Art
Claire
Direction
Obscure.
are Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silksong.
Silksong.
Best
First
Score and
Silksong
Music,
nomination.
leveled up by Spotify. The nominees
Claire
are
Obscure.
Christopher Larkin for Hollow Knight Silksong, Darren Korb for Hades 2, Lorian Testar for Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Toma Otoa for Ghost of Yotei, and Woodkid and Ludwig Forsell for Death Stranding 2, On the Beach.
No Dispatch is crazy.
The Best Audio Design nominees are Battlefield 6,
Battlefield 6,
Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, and Silent Hill F.
Ghost of Yotei is getting a lot of love this year.
Was added to the Game Awards in 2022
they love Ghost of Yotei.
Outstanding show, movie, or other creative work inspired by and based on an established video game world. Here are this year's
Player Obscure is going to
nominees
sweep a lot.
for Best Adaptation: a Minecraft movie, Devil May Cry,
Nope.
Splinter Cell Death Watch,
I gotta watch
The
that.
Last of Us Season 2,
Hell no.
and Until Dawn.
You.
For Best Narrative, the outstanding
that's a rough
nominees
one.
are Claire Obscure, Expedition 33,
They're all bad.
Death Stranding
Except-
2, On the Beach, Ghost of Yotei,
Except maybe Splinter
Kingdom
Cell.
Come Deliverance 2,
Best Narrative.
and Silent Hill F.
No Dispatch is crazy.
Best Community Support celebrates game developers who continually and transparently engage, support, and respond to their players. This year's nominees are Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14,
Marvel
Fortnite,
Rivals.
Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky.
No more
Your
Rivals.
nominees for Games for Impact are Consume Me, Despelote, Lost Records Bloom and Rage,
Dispatch
Sound of
not getting
Midnight,
anything is
and
crazy.
Wonderstop. In the category of Best Multiplayer, the nominees are
Fully finished too
Ark
late.
Raiders,
No way.
Battlefield 6, Elden Ring,
I gotta look up the
Red
cutoff.
Rain, Peak, and Split Fiction. Best Independent Game celebrates games with a
'Cause
high
it
degree
released
of
on time.
risk
That's what
tolerance,
mattered.
produced outside the traditional publisher system. Those nominees are Absolem, Ball Pit,
That's tough.
Blueprints, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight
Player Obscure is just
Silksong.
going to win everything.
Best Debut Indie Game recognizes a development team that hasn't won a Game Award before. In fact, these teams published their first game this year. The nominees are Blueprints, Claire
Blueprints.
Obscure Expedition 33, Despelote, Dispatch,
Finally.
and Megabonk. For Best VR AR Game,
Player Obscure is
the
going to win that
nominees
too,
are
though.
Alien Rogue Incursion, Arcan Age, Ghost Town, Marvel's Deadpool VR, and The Midnight Walk.
Is that game even out yet?
For Content Creator of the Year, the nominees
How's that
are
nominated?
Pedro, Kai Sanat, Moist Critical,
Moist Critical.
Sakura Miko, and The Burnt Peanut.
Sonar.
Part of the Game Awards is looking forward to what's next, and don't worry,
Still gonna win
we'll have
everything?
lots of games to
No,
announce for you.
Player
on
Obscure is gonna
December
win
11th.
everything.
But what's the most anticipated upcoming game? Here are the nominees
GTA
based on
6.
currently announced titles: 007 First Light, Grand Theft Auto
It's
6,
GTA 6.
Marvel's Wolverine, Resident Evil Requiem, and The Witcher 4. The best
I'm looking forward to
action-adventure
Wolverine
game nominees
the
are
most
Death
out of
Stranding
those.
2 On the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, Hollow Knight Silksong, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle,
Silksong.
and Split Fiction.
Split
For
Fiction.
best
Split Fiction.
role-playing game, the jury selected
E33
Avowed,
sweep.
Claire
Indeed.
Obscure Expedition 33,
Sweet. Claire Obscure
Kingdom Come
sweep.
Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, and The Outer Worlds 2.
Definitely not. Claire Obscure
In the
sweep.
category of Best Fighting Game, the nominees are 2XKO,
2XKO.
Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection,
Interesting.
and Virtua Fighter 5 Revo World Stage. The nominees for Best Action Game are Battlefield 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4,
I knew Ninja
and
Gaiden 4 would get something.
Shinobi Art of Vengeance.
I think Hades 2 wins
Innovation and
that.
accessibility celebrates games that are making our industry available and enjoyable to more people. The nominees for innovation and accessibility are Assassin's Creed Shadows, Atomfall, Doom the Dark Ages, EA Sports FC 26,
Doom has some
and
really good-
South of Midnight.
I thought Doom had some really
Next
good
up,
accessibility
Best
options.
Family Game. The nominees are Donkey Kong Bonanza, Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction.
Split Fiction.
The Best Sim Strategy
Split
Game
Fiction should
nominees
win that.
are The Alters, Final Fantasy Tactics, Ivalice Chronicles, Jurassic World Evolution 3, Sid Meier's Civilization 7, Tempest Rising, and 2 Point Museum. These
Still
games
is
are
fire.
nominated for Best Sports Racing Game.
Got
EA
AC
Sports
Shadows.
FC 26, F1 25,
Lego competing
Mario
with itself.
Kart World, Rematch, and Sonic Racing
Rematch.
Cross Worlds. Now the nominees in our 3 esports categories, starting with Best Esports Game. The
Best
nominees
esports
are
game.
Counter-Strike 2.
I don't care about this
Dota
award at
2,
all.
League of Legends, Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and Valorant. The nominees for Best Esports Athlete are Brock, Chovy, Forsaken,
Don't know
Kakaroon,
any of these people.
Mena RD, and Zywoo. And for Best Esports Team, our Special Esports Committee nominated these teams. Gen G League of Legends,
Don't know.
NRG Valorant,
Don't know.
Team Falcons Dota 2,
Don't know.
Team Liquid PH
Don't know.
Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and Team Vitality
Don't know.
Counter-Strike 2. Okay, we're
Not a
almost
soul.
done, but there are still two
I think the only
very
esports team I
important
know
categories to go. First, Best
Sentinels.
Game Direction recognizes outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. The nominees are Claire Obscure Expedition 33,
Claire Obscure, yep.
Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, and Split Fiction.
Claire Obscure is going to have so
GOTY,
many.
Game of the Year,
So many
recognizing
awards.
a game that
All right, here we
delivers
go.
the absolute best experience to players across all creative and technical fields. For this year's awards, our global TGA jury has selected the following 6
This badge is
games
getting
as
chilled.
the nominees for Game
Silksong,
of the
Claire
Year.
Obscure, Death Stranding.
Claire Obscure, Expedition 33
Hades.
from Sandfall Interactive. Death Stranding 2, On the Beach from Kojima Productions.
Of course, he's going to have
Donkey
Kojima in there.
Kong
Donkey Kong,
Bonanza
of course.
from Nintendo.
We knew this already.
Hades 2
We
from
knew this already.
Supergiant Games. Hollow Knight Silksong from Team Cherry. And Kingdom Come Deliverance
Oh, Kingdom
2
Come's got in there.
from Warhorse Studios.
Shout out to Kingdom
There you
Come.
have it, your nominees for Game of the Year. And now that those are official, you can anticipate Lauren Balfe and the Game Awards Orchestra
Actually, solid
playing
list.
their themes as part of our musical salute to the nominees live on December 11th. But before that,
Any
we
info
need
about
your
season
help to
2?
decide which
All the
nominees
info I have
will
about
win.
season 2 was in my
Make sure to
video.
head to thegameawards.com
My recent
to
video
cast your
that I made
ballot.
about it.
And new this year, download your vote card so you can share your picks on social media. There is still one more category where the nominees have yet to be revealed. Player's Voice, where fans 100% select the winner from 30 nominees. We'll announce
That's
those
gonna be
nominees
interesting.
on Monday, December 1st, so set a reminder on the website if you want to be alerted.
Kingdom Come had a
Winners in
higher
all
Metacritic
categories
score.
will be revealed live
than
during
Yotei.
TGA when it streams globally on Thursday, December 11th.
Makes sense.
Starting with opening act at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 a.m. GMT at the
I think this batch got
and
screwed
live
over.
across every major video and social platform out there. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you live on Thursday, December 11th to celebrate the best and see what's next in video games.
I think this batch got hoed. I think it releasing when it did kind of hurt it because it got most of its momentum in like the last few weeks, where I feel like a lot of people made up their mind. But I think overall it's like a solid game of the year category. Not a surprising one. The only surprising addition was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And even that wasn't that surprising. We obviously knew they were going to find a way to get Kojima in there for Death Stranding 2. We obviously knew they had to get one Nintendo game in there. And like Claire Obscure, Hollow Knight Silksong, those are all locks. Hades 2, those are all locks. What if GTA 6 gets released after nominees next year? It's November. But today is November. Nominees today's 17th. When's the GTA 6 release date? The 19th. GTA 6 releases 2 days after the nominees. Unless they delay it again. Go. Sorry. Yeah, I'm glad I got nominations. So I think partially it was because it's a really good game, but also I think it's kind of a makeup for Ghost of Tsushima not getting as much love as it should have gotten in 2020 at the Game Awards. I think Tsushima was my game of the year for 2020. It was definitely my game of the year for 2020. Donkey Kong shouldn't have been there. Yeah, but it's a Nintendo game that was one of the highest rated games of the year. Obviously, they were going to include Nintendo in there. Personally, I thought they should have put Split. I would happily swap out Donkey Kong for Dispatch or Split Fiction or Yotei. But it is what it is. We know Nintendo is contractually obligated to have a nomination at the Game Awards. And to be fair, most people agree Donkey Kong was legitimately a great game. Say what you will about Nintendo, they did objectively. Most people objectively concluded it was a great game. So I'm not even mad at it. Even though I don't support Nintendo, I fully understand that Donkey Kong was getting nominated. So really, the only debatable slot was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I would have definitely given to Dispatch. But Clair Obscur, though, I think the only question is how many categories is Clair Obscur sweeping? Dispatch got nominated for Best Debut. For a game, it's a category for a game that from a studio that's never been nominated for a Game of the Year, for a Game Award, and this is their debut. And Clair Obscur is in that category as well, so they're probably going to win that too. You haven't played a Donkey Kong game in the Mind Era? Same. I legitimately have not played a Nintendo game since the Nintendo 64. Legitimately, not a one. I've been completely out on Nintendo. I think I might have played some Smash Brothers on not even that. Like I didn't even. Did I play? I might play a little Smash on the Cube, but yeah, it's been a very many years since I played anything Nintendo. But obviously Clair Obscur is winning at pretty much everything. The only question is how many categories is Silksong, and is Silksong going to take from Clair Obscur, and how many awards is Geoff Keighley going to rig in favor of Kojima? That's the only question. Because we know he pulled some strings to make sure. To be fair, Death Stranding 2 was one of the most well-reviewed games of the year. So it's not like they just threw it in there purely, because they're friends. But we know. We know. But yeah, solid nominees. I'm not too mad at it. I'm mad that Dispatch didn't get anything for best music or best performances. Like, there being 3 people from Clair Obscur nominated for best performance is insane. But I think that's crazy glazed, but I'm glad Dispatch at least got something. So Game of the Year, probably going to be Clair Obscur. Clair Obscur, I'm sure, is going to get most of the nominations. So pleasantly surprised Yotei got so much love. Looking forward to that. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Look, I'll of course be streaming the Game Awards next month, and I'm going to drop a video on the some of the trailers that I'm expecting or that we could potentially see, specifically for superhero games. So I'm gonna probably release that on the 1st of December. I'm gonna do some more research, check some news, and I should have that video ready by then. Everyone, if you haven't already, check out my latest video on Dispatch, all the latest info on its sales figures, as well as what's happening with season 2. And I have to, in the meantime, I have to actually finish my Yotei because I keep getting distracted by side quests. Peace out, everybody. Subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.